a guy on Instagram who DM'd me. He kind of came out of the blue, very charming, whatever. We like kind of went back and forth. I was busy. It wasn't consistent. He like asked if he could actually take me out on a date, like when I'm back in LA and like all this stuff. And I was just like, no, thank you. Like, I'm, not sure I'm interested. I'm not sure if we'd be the most compatible. Just cause like I stalked his page. I looked at the, his vibe. There were a couple of videos that were a little like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, and it just, that switch. Why not? Like, you don't even know me. That's really weird to just like say out of the gate. Like, you didn't even give me a chance. And I was like,
whoa, I don't owe you a chance. I don't owe you anything.
Like, literally don't have to.
literally.
You're not entitled to any of my time or my energy.
Yeah, no.
I'm not like,
no.
It's not like you pay a dime and you get to ride the ride.
And then it dragged into
I'm a
this whole
human being.
thing where he's like, I saw you crying on TikTok about like your ex, last year and being upset about that. And then like this nice guy like wants to take you out on a date and you shut him down. Like clearly you're the, it like turned and he like kept going. I was
So
like,
you're not a nice guy.
no.
That's not
so
what you
I
are.
was right.
If you have to convince other people that you're a nice guy,
Yes.
you're not a nice guy. Genuine question. And there's not really right or wrong answer. I'm genuinely just curious. When do you think is an acceptable time for like a guy that you just started seeing to kiss you?
When it feels like you guys are ready to kiss each other.
Well, they clearly don't know when that is.
Sometimes.
They don't always know when that is.
When normal people are on a date, then you have a feeling, you have a moment. Maybe you like kind of feel it, but you don't do it right then. You wait till the next time, and sometimes they ask. I think
asking is sweet.
Yeah. And there is people like, oh, asking ruins it. Not if you're
Not if you're not
Yeah.
smooth. Just say that.
Yeah.
If you're not smooth, just say that.
Learn how to be smooth. Learn to be like peanut butter without.
If you have to like grab someone and pull them, that's not the moment. That's not the right time.
Because also, like, I think that there is something really sexy about, like, kind of the slow moving.
Yeah.
Because one, if the vibe isn't there,
You can back up.
you know before you get there.
Yeah.
But also, there's something lovely about that anticipation of,
And
like,
there's that kind of-
that rush of, like, this is it. This is, like,
Yeah.
because if you want it, like, if I want a guy to kiss me,
Yeah.
a lot of, like, I have already thought about it.
Because there are holes, and that's what people don't really understand. If I take two media sources that are politically polar opposite, and I look at the same story from those two, there will be a set of facts that appear with both. Those are probably facts. You can probably pull those out as real. But there will be things that appear in one side that don't appear here, or appear here that don't appear here. And those could be facts. They also could be speculation from either of those sides. So those things I would take more with a grain of salt as opposed to the facts that appeared in both. If there's a topic that you really feel like you feel like you've got a strong opinion about it, this is horrible or this is wonderful, you're starting to have a very strong opinion, I would suggest taking the 20 minutes to really look into that topic, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And just look into it. If you're going to look at an article about that topic from CNN, then you actively need to go to Fox News or any one of those sites, and you need to, because they will have the exact same topic, but it will have a different perspective on that topic, right? And same thing, if you're watching something on, OAN, or you're watching something on News Nation, you need to actively go and look at the other side of it. Find the opposite of
Figure out
whatever
what you're missing.
When I was teaching American history, I did a simulation on the Alien and Sedition Acts. You couldn't criticize the Adams administration. They were worried about French spies, things like that. I came up with this simulation as best as I could. I would find something like very minor, like something very dumb to be mad about, whether the kids left a mess in the classroom or a very low percentage of kids like turned in their assignment from the day before. And I basically told the kids like, I'm fed up. I've had enough, blah, blah, blah. We're going to have these new rules. And I said, you have one shot to change my mind. You have to, write me a speech, tell me why these aren't fair, tell me what is wrong. And so, I put them in groups, and they would write their little speech. And then censorship law, I would take a big Sharpie. I told them that before they presented to the class, I would have to, check them. And so anything that was about, this is unfair, scratch out. Anything that I didn't want them to say that was unfair of me,
Right.
or that it was stupid, or I was just being mean, scratch. And they got pissed.
Yeah.
Like, they were mad. I'm like, this is my classroom. I can say, like, if I don't want you to say that, you're not going to say that. And it was so hard to keep a straight face. One kid, he was so angry because, like, they thought it was real. And this kid literally just, like, walked out of the room. He just stormed out of the classroom. What are you doing? Get back to the classroom. And he's like so mad, going off on me. I was like, I cannot do the simulation anymore.
Yeah, don't
'cause
do
this
that,
kid got
man. Don't do that.
mad. He was so upset and thought I was just picking on them.
A lot of the anti-vaccine conversations that come out, they're not honest in terms of like public health. There's always a trade-off. So it's like, okay, well, if you do want to vaccinate and there's, you know, all of these things in it, and the fear, I understand it. If you don't want to vaccinate, what's the downside risk of that? Like, what used to happen? And a lot of times they're not honest about what used to happen. And it's like, well, what used to happen, people used to die a lot of, right? Or, you know, the
They would have measles, or they would
yeah,
have...
or the kids would be like permanently scarred. Like, I have an uncle who had polio. Right? And so he was in a wheelchair for his entire life. We need to have the conversation about the downside risk that comes like
comes from not vaccinating.
Well, not just that, but the like the foods, right? Some foods rot very easily if you didn't have certain preservatives in them. Now the question is, do we have too many preservatives? That's a legitimate question. So it's like, let's not have the preservatives, now all your food's moldy, right? So it's like, yeah, like we can have that conversation, and the fear, I understand it because it's very visceral, right?
Especially when it comes to long-term effects of chemicals that we might not know the long-term effects. But the truth of the matter is, okay, we might not know the long-term effects of these vaccines, but we do know the long-term effects of polio.
Right.
And we do know the long-term effects of measles.
In terms of like public health, to have honest conversation, you have to understand there's always a trade-off. And sometimes, a lot of times, the benefit greatly outweighs the risk.
I actually think being a part of a church body is a really intentionally designed part of a Christian faith.
Okay.
By God. You know, because we as believers, like, we're not supposed to, like, every action we do is either kind of folding in on ourselves, isolating, or we're like reaching out. And we as the bride of Christ is a body, you know, and we are all supposed to be connected to each other. There's passages in some of the epistles that are like, the eye can't do what the foot can do, and the foot can't do what the arm can do. You know, it's like we're all needed. We're all supposed to work together. And so if your faith is just you alone, you're not actually experiencing the fullness of what a faith-driven life can offer. Does that make sense?
It does. I'll tell you why.
Give me a counterpoint.
Yeah, this is not an absolute idea or an absolute concept, because I know this is not everyone or everywhere or whatever. But based on my experience, I am not a huge fan of like religious institutions.
100%. I get it.
Because I feel like too many times and too many people kind of use those institutions to kind of prove, like they feel like it almost feels like the need to prove that you have a relationship to God, or that you have a religion, or that you have a faith, and who's the biggest advocate for faith. And like I don't like.
Alrighty, ma'am, the total for your purchase is $32.95. You guys have tap to pay, right?
We do. The block is right here.
Thank you. No problem, I'll grab your receipt. No. Try again. Try what again? Your response. It was unacceptable, so try again. I don't understand. The proper response to thank you is you're welcome, okay? It's not you're all set. It's not sure thing. It's not no problem. The only response is you're welcome, okay? I apologize for upsetting you. And furthermore, why am I even thanking you? I didn't ask you to thank me. You're only saving grace. You realize who should be thanking who, right? Oh my gosh, silence isn't the proper response either. I don't know what you want me to say. You should be thanking me, okay? I'm the customer. I didn't have to come here. I didn't have to choose to spend my hard-earned money here at this place, but I did, okay? So a little gratitude would be nice. Thank you for coming to our store. Finally, was that so hard? My gosh, customer service is truly a lost art these days. I don't get paid enough.